Now this photo was sent to me by Val over in Iowa in the States. He'd like me to show him a simple way of doing cornfields and various shades of green in the landscape. We'll find a simple way of creating this. So we've got our big sky, some distant buildings there on the horizon, and then sort of land sort of sweeps around. We've got our variations on the greens and the browns, the raw siennas. A few little flowers there, maybe even stick a little path in somewhere. So let's see how we get on. Let's have a look at the materials. So I've got my usual palette, always have it the same way around, all the colours always in the same place so I know instinctively where they are. Starting the bottom left we've got ultramarine blue, lemon yellow, Payne's grey, alizarin crimson, raw sienna, burnt umber, light red. Below those we've got the brushes, 3 brushes, larger on ransonite, 3/4 inch flat, number 3 rigger. The paints are Cotman watercolours, squeezed out and allowed to dry. I got a pencil here, I never use it, I just go straight on with the paint. Little buildings, I sometimes use this little flat here if they need to be really small. 15 by 11 Fabriano watercolour paper, and it's clipped to a piece of 9mm ply. At the top there we've got our tea towel. I always use this in my left hand just to wipe the hake on to keep the excess water off the brush. So another quick look at the photograph before we start. So let's start with the big eye and just cover it in water, nice and even. That way the paper will stretch evenly and we won't get any crinkles anywhere. And then with that in, just dipping the tips in just to bring all the ears back together. I'm going to go into raw sienna, haphazardly whacking it in, clean the brush, take the excess off on the lip, a bit more off on the towel, and then I'm going ultramarine, just a touch of Payne's grey, just to vary it a bit, and then just starting over this side and just going in the same direction each time, just touching the paper, bit of an angle. If you see the paint dripping down, just catch the bottom of it like that, just to take it away. And again, just bringing the colour right down to the bottom. But again, see, I can go like that. I'm not even touching the paper now, and I'm just very slowly getting closer and closer, just so I'm just touching it, and I'm just catching those little bits of water coming down the paper. And you end up with something like that. Just a very simple sky. So with that in, let's give that a quick dry. You don't have to dry it completely, just to stop the water from coming down the page. That'll do, that's just a nice simple little background to work with. Paper's stretched a bit, so I'm just going to pull it tight just so that it's flat again on the wood. So first I'm going to start with the furthest bit of land, so I'm just going to dip the tips in again just to bring the ears back together. And then raw sienna, ultramarine, same 2 colours as the sky. Work out where it's coming about there. Don't put it bang on halfway because it just won't look right. Just come slightly below halfway. And then I'm just. You can see it's not completely dry because it's softening up a bit. Let's just take that all the way over to there on that side, and then it comes across all the way over to this side. That's where the land is. You can see how it's dry on this side. See the difference? Dry and wet. Don't worry about it, I'll put the buildings in when it's dry at the end afterwards. So that's that. Then introduce a bit of the green. So I'm going into lemon yellow, raw sienna, lemon yellow, a bit more of the blue because I've made that a bit too strong. I'm just varying it as I come along. Raw sienna on this side. A bit of Payne's grey because you want to darken it now. A bit darker. These are the sort of bits of corn now. It's a very simple way of doing it. You're not going to paint every individual piece of corn. Just get the brush. Nice and dark. And now I go. Clean the brush. Let's go raw sienna. Just get a bit of variation there in the colour. Raw sienna. Lemon yellow. Being on this side. Now this is going to sort of sweep round slightly. Sweep round. Something like that. And then just introduce a bit of burnt umber down there. A bit of burnt umber. So we've got some general background in. Now let's move back up here. We've got some trees, just a few little trees up there. There's like one that just sort of breaks the horizon. Just using the corner of the ache, lemon yellow, Payne's grey, corner of the ache. And then just little dab here and there. We introduce a little bit of trunk, tree trunk there, but another little bush over there. There's a few. Again, just lemon yellow, ultramarine, Payne's grey. I'm just flicking it down. Before I do any more now, I'm going to dry it. Get the dryer out. And with that dry now, we can get in some of these slightly more sort of individual bits. A bit of corn down there, so I'm just sort of flicking it straight down. And I'm just putting whole batches of them in one go, in one stroke. There's a few bits of, yeah, just whacking them all in one go. Don't mess about with it. Obviously, the quicker you can do it, the better it'll look. If you sit there fiddling, doing all this, that and the other with your little brushes, you'll just make a total mess of it. And again, just stop, take a look back, sit back, have a look at it and see where you need. Because don't just go in and do this for about 30 seconds and then, because more often than not, you'll have overdone it. A few little dibs and dabs around there. bits of grass and all sorts of things. Obviously it gets smaller and smaller as they go off into the distance. Got a burnt umber. You can see how dry the brush is now, it's hardly coming off the brush. That's how I want it. It's easier then to not overdo it, because you can just do a few strokes again, stop, have a look at it. I'm fairly happy with that now, I think. What I'm going to do now is switch to the I think those houses. I'm just looking how big those houses are. I'm just trying to plan them. See, do I want them wider than that, or do I want them? I think that might be too. Will it? I don't know. I might keep them small and go with a little brush. So what I'm going to do is I want the same, because they're quite far away. I want them the same colour as the sky basically. So I'm just going to use the same two colours I did for the sky. And I'm going to have it fairly watery because I don't want it to stand out too much. Might even just dab it on the tail just to take a lot of the paint off, and then just. I should have dried this. And just put a little roof in. Somewhere around there. Just block a little roof in. And a few little windows. There's like another little house next to him. Something like that. So I won't go any other way as well. Rolling. Couple of dabs for the windows. No, I just want to keep that. Try and keep that nice and subtle. I won't even just. A little bit of land over there. I just want to keep that nice and subtle. See a few little flowers in the foreground, so I'm going to take the hay, scuff it up. So as I'm drying it, I'm scuffing it up. Now the flowers are white. I could get some gouache. I've got no gouache on my palette. What I might do, I'm going to pretend they're like poppies or something, and just use red. Just use red for now. Get into the red there. Maybe even just a touch of blue as well. And then let's just about see just some little flowers here in the foreground amongst all our bits of grass and corn and all sorts of things growing down there. A bit of blue as well, just to change it a little bit. Let's just stick some over there as well. As they go off into the distance, you want to keep it more and more subtle. I might just leave it that for now. I think all that's left to do now is switch to the hike. Let's just have a couple of little birds flying around this. think I'll call that one finished. So that's just a very simple way of painting fields over in Iowa. On a quiet corner. Up your signature. Let's just go in and have a closer look at it. So there's our finished painting. Very simple scene, but still enjoyable to do. See, I've not changed the composition much from the actual photograph. I often find just very simple skies can look just as nice as your big dramatic stuff using lots of colours. This is just ultramarine and raw sienna. Always putting the most distant land in the same colours. See, I've even used the same colours for those little buildings there. I've tried to keep them as subtle as I can. Coming forward, we've got our little few bushes there on the left hand side. I've just tried to keep constantly varying the colour to keep the landscape interesting. It's important really, when it's such a simple landscape like this, as long as you can keep varying it, you can still get a nice painting out of it. You can say you get a sort of sweep around here, which I did with the hake, just to create that nice little effect. And then once it's dry, if you just go in with the hake, you can create all these big corns and grasses very quickly, brushing them in. But that's when you have to make sure the paper's dry then. Well, thanks for the photo, Val. I hope you like the painting, and everyone else. Keep practicing. Any questions, please ask, and I'll see you again soon.